or angle some.
The start and the stop click.
The start and stop click. It's too many clicks to keep track of.
I really hope I don't fuck this up, dude.
But yeah,
a rough one.
The Mythbusters chick died.
So you said she was driving too fast?
I think she was trying to break the world record for like rocket car speed.
And
she was going hundreds of miles an hour.
And so what killed her? The speed alone?
It's usually not the speed, it's the stop.
What'd she stop on?
I think, what's the most delicate way to put this? A long stretch of desert, all at once, maybe.
So, yeah.
It was a crash.
I wonder how fast she was going, though. Do you think she just time traveled?
Into no more forward?
Yeah.
I guess that's one way to look at dying.
Her soul went into the future, probably.
We are scientists. I think we're qualified to make that claim.
My condolences to the Mythbusters woman, I suppose.
They taught me so much. Like, shooting a gas tank isn't going to make an explosion.
Isn't that so sad?
I've been lied to in so many mediums for so much of my life.
What was it? 21 Jump Street kind of played on that. Like, you kept trying to shoot it. You kept trying to shoot the gas tank.
Explode.
And nothing happened. And then eventually they shoot, like, the chicken coop truck.
And that explodes.
It goes up in flames like crazy.
The movie's fantastic. God, I love good comedies.
Yeah.
And bad comedies. And really just most comedy.
You like bad ones?
Sometimes.
Which bad ones do you like?
It's an example of, like, a... Honestly, I don't think movie 42 is a good movie, but movie 43.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. 42 was great.
The sequel, not so much.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a particularly good movie, but I had a fantastic time watching it.
I don't know, dude. I think it's, like, genuinely good.
Hugh Jackman with...
A scrotum on his...
He was a Balchinian. Men in Black. But... I mean, the burrito skit, to be sure, was artful masterpiece, but
yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but it's hard for me to give that the title of a good movie when it was near unanimously panned.
Yeah.
And it didn't really make a lot of sense a lot of the time.
I don't understand how it got that bad reviews, though.
Right? You'd think there'd be enough people like us that are just, he poops.
I guess the critics, oh God.
How do we narrate? My dog is standing on the couch, facing out over the back, out the window, and kind of pressed into it. She's disappearing into the couch cushion and taking all the weight off her front legs. So really it's like her neck and her back legs holding her up. And she just stares like she is on a widow watch, looking for her husband to come home from sea.
He might come home from sea. The harbor's just 2 blocks down the street.
Yeah, but she doesn't have a husband. And I don't have the heart to tell her. Doesn't even turn back as we talk about her. We could be shit talk. Oh God, she turned back. she looked a little ashamed of that.
Dude, so tell me, how was your weekend before we started hanging out? What you been up to?
It's pretty good. Most of what I did was just homework for my EMT class, which...
Oh boy, fun stuff.
Yeah, and I knew I would love it, and I'm excited to work as an EMT, and the material we're learning is super cool. I'm glad I can now splint arms when you break your body doing something stupid if we're hanging out. But what I didn't read was any of the reviews or instructions about how much time it was going to take. So I'm working the 40 hours a week, and I have 2 4-hour class sessions in person, and then it is 25 to 30 hours of homework per week.
Oh my God.
On top of it. And I don't really know what I expected in a 6-week class, but for some reason, I thought it might be equal to the amount of in-class time.
Yeah.
Like 8, maybe 20 hours of work a week, but no, it tacks up around 40.
That is absolutely my nightmare.
So, yeah, literally Monday after I worked 8 hours, I went to class, got home at 10:15. Tuesday, same thing. Wednesday, worked for 8 hours, did homework for 6 hours. Thursday, went to jiu-jitsu, did homework for 5 hours. Friday, did homework for 6 hours. And then it kind of freed me up for the weekend so that we could go to the casino last night.
Oh, that's good. Oh, the casino. Oh boy, did it do me dirty last night. I was like talking such a big game too. Like I love my craps and I love my blackjack.
You were a lot more confident in the rules of craps leading up to the craps table, and then as soon as I asked you what you had just bet on, you seemed way less sure of what was going on.
No, I definitely still knew the rules. Like I'm
pretty sure your words were somewhat. when I double checked that you knew the rules.
Yeah, I mean, you bet on 6 and 8, and as long as it's not a 7, you're fine. Like, that's the rules, basically. There's
Tell me,
more
you were watching your
complicated
watch.
stuff than that.
How long did that work for us as a strategy?
Oh, 2 rolls of the dice, and the first one I didn't win, and then the second one, I put all my money down that I was gonna bet right then and there because like I was coming off such like a high of the last time I played craps. I like came out with like put in like $20, came out with like 95. I was like feeling good about myself, whatever. Like, oh, I'm the king of craps. I go in, put all my money down on 6 and 8, 7. Fuck. All right.
And that's why casinos make their money.
Yeah, and that was the end of my gambling that night.
It's all right.
Probably for the best, though. I don't think anyone else was trying to stick around much longer.
We had our little endeavor excursion into the gambly areas.
Yeah.
I don't know. It intimidates me. It's a lot of lights, a lot of sounds. I have a very short attention span around those types of things. I don't... and the big thing, the reason I really never want to gamble at all, because, like, going to a bar versus hanging out with your friends at home, you're going to spend $50 versus $10 to drink the same number of beers, but it's the experience. Like, I could go to a casino knowing I'm going to lose these $30. Like, this is my fun money. I'm spending it. It's not what I'm hoping to earn off of. Mm-hmm. But everyone there looks like they are so serious, and every other person playing any game doesn't look like they're there to just have fun like I am. And I am terrified of getting in their way. I have seen people get yelled away from tables or be chastised. The first time when you and I went to Mohegan Sun, the time you did well at craps even, we were like catching flack from people at the table for just not knowing how it worked. It's intimidating.
We were also at the most expensive table, so maybe we just picked the wrong one that one time. Like we went to like
not in the high rollers. We found the high roller tables yesterday, and those are a tick above what we were looking to do.
Yeah. But hey, what you gonna do? Maybe next time diversify a little bit, hold a little bit back, so I can't lose it all in one go.
I definitely thought when I put $20 in towards your gambling pot that was how you were gonna play it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I was just kind of like, it was like one of those things. Like I was just caught up in the moment of like I had, because it was a $25 buy-in and I had 3 20s, and so if I wanted to put, I always do 6 and 8. And so I wanted to put...
You needed $50 worth of buy-in.
Yeah, I wanted to put $25 on each one, but he's like, this is $60. Assuming he would give me change or something.
It's crazy. You would think that somebody handling the money in a casino would understand math.
Yeah, so I thought he was just going to put down like $25 on each and then give me the extra like $10 in chips back. So I was like, yeah, okay, fine, 30 on each. And yeah, I proceeded to immediately lose it.
I didn't realize he peer pressured you into it.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. It's like, I don't know, you're like standing at the front of the grocery line and like...
Yeah, and everyone else is ready to play and wants to get their game going and isn't there to have fun or encourage you to learn, and that's stressful to me. Yeah. And I didn't want to be in the situation.
That's totally fair.
That's why I was happy. That's why I was happy to put my money in and just let you play it.
The rest of the night at the casino was a great time, though.
It's like sitting on your arm for a little while before you gamble. Somebody else, it feels like someone else is losing your money.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of the night was good. The comedy show, great.
Dude, that guy was so fucking funny.
Sean Patton. Check him out on Comedy Central. He's also got a This Is Not Happening special on YouTube and Comedy Central probably too. But Jesus Christ, that was good.
Yeah, no, he was fucking hilarious. That was my first time in a while going to a comedy show. And my first time going to one where, like, it was like sit down, get food, have drinks and stuff like that. Yeah, most. It
wasn't a UConn auditorium.
Like, yeah, exactly.
And how about that also? We were the only UConn crowd, and he got to shit talk UConn, and that was exciting.
Yeah. Oh, man. I wonder how much of that was actually, like, legitimate or how much was just, like, kind of playing to the audience. But he mentioned Jorgensen by name, so I was like, all right,
he's definitely been there.
Probably not full of shit.
This guy Huskies. Well, you might have lost the money, but it's... Wow, we went to casinos 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah, we did.
That is 2 times the number of weekends I've ever spent at a casino in a row.
With 2 very different experiences.
Well, last week I got to play the asshole. I guess you losing our $60 paves the way for me to one-up you, just like I hate. Well, last
One down
weekend,
me.
this might be 2 or 3 down, let's be honest. This weekend was Mohegan, but last weekend we went to Foxwoods because you're conveniently located a stone's throw from 2 different Sin Palaces.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Foxwoods. We went to Foxwoods with a group of Steve's coworkers, most of whom I have never met and wanted to make a good impression on. This is the weekend following my 24th birthday, so of course Steve does as a good friend would and ices me twice when I get to his apartment. And then we proceed to pregame out of soup bowls.
Oh, yeah.
Blueberry vodka, lemonade, not equal parts. There's a bit more finesse to it than that. But when you're drinking out of a soup bowl, believe it or not, it's much harder to track your alcohol intake.
And we'll never give the recipe.
So pre-gaming continues. Seems like it's going fine. We order the Uber, and I make a 1-liter lemonade mixer bottle full of drink for the ride, which I think will be perfect for both Steve and I. Between us, almost 500 pounds of people, 6'2", he's a monster of a human, 6'5", 1 bottle. This is good. I did my math. And then I turn around to see you screwing the top shut on your bottle of drink.
Well,
for
I
the
didn't
car.
want to impose. I thought that was for you, and I was like,
I had 2 soup bowls already.
No. This is what happened. Was you had that big ass thing, and I was like, oh, that looks like good. That's a lot of alcohol. Like, I wonder if that's for the both of us. And so I was like, oh, should I like bring a drink? Like, I like was trying to like gauge like, oh, is this for him or is this for us? And you're like, oh, yeah, like, the Uber's, like, coming, but, yeah, like, if you want to make something real quick. And I was like, yeah, okay, I will.
Wow, that's totally ambiguous.
Both of us being incredibly passive. And so I made, a rum and Coke in, like, a regular-sized Coke bottle, which I didn't even finish in the car.
And I did finish the whole liter of mixed drink. I finished it because I didn't want to waste.
Which is fair, which is commendable.
But we get there, and I honestly still feel fine. Walk in, go to Stony Creek Brewery, super good time inside of Foxwoods, playing Jumbo Connect 4, meeting your coworkers,
Yep.
learning all their names.
Yeah, you did great with that. You knew all their names quick.
On my best behavior because I don't want Steve to be that guy that hangs out with fucking squids. And it's fine. For an hour and a half, for 2 beers gradually sipped on, a dozen rounds of Connect 4. Nothing goes wrong. The group decides, after a couple people trickle home, that we are going to the bowling alley instead of the club. Thank God, because truthfully, I'm on my feet, but I'm not really in a state to be clubbing.
Yeah, for sure.
We go to the bowling alley. Nice bowling alley, by the way. Didn't know they had one in Foxwoods.
Yeah, it was super nice.
And coincidentally...
Super nice and clean.
Right? I run into 2 of the only 4 people from my entire high school that I've had any contact with since high school. Both of these guys were in my grade, and both of them are still super tight friends with my younger brother. These are 2 of the very, very few people from that region of the state that I ever might have cause to see in my life. And it was good, because I wasn't drunk yet, or so I thought. We start playing bowling, and immediately, as soon as it's my turn, dude, I was realizing this is not good. I didn't see 1 lane, I saw a lot of lanes. And I had a really hard time keeping the ball down any of them.
I had 3 lanes and 4 balls.
And no strikes.
Yeah.
But I start bowling. You guys are having a blast. What did it look like from the corner of your eye? What was the warning shot? The shot heard around the world.
Oh, yeah. So so this was funny. So we, like, ordered food or whatever. It was, like, fine. It was, like,
Buffalo
bar
chicken
food.
pizza?
Yeah, like, buffalo chicken pizza.
Which
some,
I
like,
pounded 3 slices down on top of my 4 beers, 6 bowls of lemonade vodka, and ice.
And so, whatever, like... Zane's clearly, like, not feeling great, whatever. So he's, like, sitting on the couch trying to, like, compose himself. And so I sit down next to him, just, like, you know, check in, whatever, between turns. And so he's, like, trying to say something to me, but very little noise is coming out of his mouth. And I'm just like, what? And then all of a sudden, and just, like, a small projectile vomit just shoots forth from his mouth. And we just kind of look at each other like, whoa. And I just immediately, like, get up, like, walk over to the bar, or to the waitress. I'm like, hey, can I get some napkins? I spilled my beer. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Like, was there, like, a lot? And I was like, oh, no, there wasn't much. She's like, because if there was, like, a good amount, I can just go grab you another beer. I was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll just take the napkins. And so I grab them, whatever. Like, I give some to Zane. I pretend to wipe the table down so it looks like I'm actually cleaning a beer. Zane's cleaning himself. and the floor or whatever he like hit, and no one else with us in this group of like 7 people
At this point,
or so.
us 2 and 5 others.
Yeah,
maybe?
exactly. Like no one saw anything. Like this small amount of vomit just like went off without a hitch.
Totally smooth operation.
Yeah, exactly. Like in and out, clean, surgical. And so we go to the bathroom, and
This should have been the first warning, because Steve tells me, or asks, more politely, do I need to pull trigger? Induce vomiting, for those of you who haven't heard the term.
the squids out there.
And this really should have been the red flag, Steve, because I don't remember you asking me that, and I don't remember having puked before we went to the bathroom. I just thought we were bowling, and then we took a trip to the bathroom.
So we were both definitely not sober that night. So maybe my timeline is a little mixed up, but I remember asking in the bathroom,
No, you're
"Hey."
probably right.
No, yeah, because I remember I was using coded language because there were other people in the bathroom, and I didn't want everyone to know that. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to blow our cover, and so in some not subtle way, I used the word trigger. Like, or whatever. And
do you need to be triggered?
Yeah, and so, I said
that
like,
comedian
I said
trigger
something like pulling of the trigger or something.
Super slick.
Yeah,
Nobody could have
exactly.
put those hints together.
And you were just like, "No, I think I'm like pretty empty."
Take a pee to be sure I'm empty.
Because somehow like the pumpkin pie you ate at my place and the 3 slices of pizza were entirely encapsulated in that small amount of vomit. But you're like, "Yeah, I think I'm empty." I was like, "Yeah, all right, dude. Okay, let's go."
I trust you. I don't have cause not
Yeah,
to.
exactly. So then, we go back, whatever, and you can pick it up from here.
Later that very same bee, we continue bowling, and if anything, the lanes have just been multiplying. I am doing worse every time.
Yeah.
It consistently goes from 5 pins to 3 pins to gutter ball after gutter ball. I should not be bowling at this point. And we're somewhere around frame 7, 8, 9. We're nearing the home stretch. At which point, I'm probably going to veto any further bowling, definitely any clubbing, and ask Steve if we can go home.
No, dude, you definitely did, because at one point, I remember it was your turn, and everyone's like, "Oh, Zane, you're up." And you were just slumped on this couch, like leaning back. I don't think your eyes were open, and with no words, and I'll try to describe this for the recording, but just like kind of hands up, like waving with a smile on your face, but like just shaking your head like, "No." We're all like, all right, he's not bowling. He's done so.
I didn't remember doing 10 frames, so I figured I must
Yeah.
have tapped out somewhere around 5 or 6.
Yeah, probably like around 7. Maybe
Okay.
7 or 8, who knows?
Farther
But
than I thought I got.
Towards the end of the game.
But once these merciful souls had tapped me out of the rotation and somebody was filling in for me, all I had to do was sit on this couch and stay alive, which I promptly failed to do. This part I do remember because I think this is when my eyes opened again. They snapped open, and out of nowhere, I haven't projectile vomited but for once in my adult life. And that was because I was sick in Zambia, and I think that one was something else. But I finally got to see what projectile vomiting looks like as I quickly spread a 2-foot diameter puddle of buffalo chicken pizza, pumpkin pie, 6 varieties of beer, lemonade, and blueberry vodka onto the carpeted floor of the casino bowling alley.
Oh, man.
In front of all of Steve's coworkers.
Yeah.
It starts getting fuzzy again after that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember seeing my 2 friends from high school, but following up with them the next day, they both definitely saw me and what had happened.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Which adds a little bit of extra salt to the wound, I gotta say. It really gives the impression of, I'm an adult and I am in control of my life. Look how well I'm doing since the last time we saw each other. To be vomiting all over my pants and shoes on the carpet of a bowling alley at a casino.
Dude, and I just remember I was like sitting next to you or whatever, like after it happened, and like everyone was like kind of clearing out to the other couch on the back wall. And
That's justified.
my I don't know what it is with me, but the way I deal with situations like this is like it's kind of like a nervous laugh, but it's more of a nervous howl, because I'm just sitting next to you dying laughing the whole time.
I remembered this part.
Dude, I'm just sitting next to you, like dying laughing because like I'm like I need to make light of this situation.
That's
like,
the most valuable thing you could do.
That's all I like could think to do in my very drunken state. And so yeah, and so eventually like you got your bucket, you threw up in the water pitcher.
You handed it. Someone handed it to me.
Kevon's wife, I think, Jamie.
Oh,
Yeah.
they handed me the metal pitcher of water to catch. Oh, that would have been fine if it was in the first seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
But it caught dribbles only and just ruined the water for no reason.
Oh god. But yeah, that's the thing. Everyone was like so cool about it. Like I was like, man, I really work with some cool people. Because like everyone's just like, oh, it's happens to everyone. Like this happened to me before. That happened to my like friend recently. Whatever. Like threw up in public.
It hadn't happened to me in years.
Yeah.
I've only thrown up from alcohol. Maybe the first night I ever got drunk. Mm-hmm. This night and like once other in college.
Yeah.
Like this is not a regular occurrence and it came out of nowhere. I thought I had my shit under control. Admittedly, the pregame was a little bit excessive, but I thought 2.5 hours of timing after that was like proof enough that things were in equilibrium.
Even the people who worked there were super cool. I remember talking to like the waitresses and stuff, and they were all just like, yeah, he's not the first one, he won't be the last. They're like the guy who came over with like the shop vac and all the cleaning stuff. He was just like kind of making like some jokes about it, whatever, just like sprayed it down, vacked it up. Like, I don't know, everyone was super chill. And even like at work on Monday, like no one really like had too much, like obviously we made some jokes about you,
as
like,
you should,
it happens.
as you should.
But like I don't know, no one was like, yeah dude, that dude's a weirdo or something. I don't know. Like
which is good.
Everyone's like, yeah, he seemed like a totally like nice guy, and like he honestly didn't even seem like that drunk. And one of my coworkers even said what you were saying, like, yeah, until he had that pizza, like, I feel like that's probably what set him off, because that pizza didn't look great.
At the time, in my eyes, through the kaleidoscope of haze, it looked fantastic.
Yeah,
and I quickly
wasn't
shoved
bad.
3 slices in, which is probably where I went wrong.
Yeah, that may have been the defining factor.
Well, I feel like everybody's got a bad casino story. Mm-hmm. Everyone's lost money or lost their phone or gotten clapped
or lost
from a
their insides onto the floor.
Or lost their dinner. And
yeah.
I fell into the third camp. That's okay. You got to brush it off, take it on the chin, let your coworkers have a laugh.
Yeah.
But it definitely should make you feel less bad, because I think I'd rather have lost $60 than have done what I did. When we're looking at the comparison, the casino parison.
Yeah.
Casino. Royale. Is Daniel Craig doing one more Bond movie?
I think so, yeah.
I thought they were switching it to Idris Elba, or they wanted a black Bond.
Well, maybe it wasn't a Bond movie. Maybe he's just doing like a movie that's basically James Bond without the title. I'm not
Wasn't
sure.
that Hobbs and Shaw where he was the bad guy?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I knew he was doing that, but I thought they were also looking to cast... I could be wrong on that, but Daniel Craig is a good Bond, and I don't have any qualms with him doing another one.
Yeah.
That's the Bond that I know. Like, during my lifetime, as good as the old movies are, this is my Bond. Not my Bond.
How long before Daniel Craig got the role was the previous Bond movie? Like, decades?
That's such a good question. Jamie, pull that up.
Not important.
We can find the timeline, but I got it. Okay. We'll pull that up in the background. I don't know. I've seen a decent number of the old ones, and there are some really good ones.
I've never seen one before Daniel Craig.
They're freaking solid. GoldenEye, Live and Let Die, From Russia with Love, Dr. No, Tomorrow Never Dies, Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, Octopussy, The Spy Who Loved Me. These are the ones I have seen. There are more than this.
A lot of those sound more like comic book titles. Whereas, like, the new ones are very, like, clearly trying to be, like, much cooler, like Quantum of Solace. Whatever that means.
Yeah, I'm still not really sure.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew what quantum meant better than most people, but Quantum of Solace doesn't quite jive.
Yeah, is quantum a noun?
I mean, a quanta is a discretized amount of something.
Okay.
That's why it's quantum, like packets of energy. When you talk photons, it's a quanta. There's a certain amount of energy in this packet, particle wave deal. So amount, it's the amount of solace.
The amount of solace. Quantum is definitely a better title than James Bond. Amount of solace.
Quantity of solace.
Amount of aloneness.
The measured amount of solitude.
Oh, man.
But I think it's Golden. 1995 was the previous one.
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
Sounds
And
like a decade.
Solace was 06. So yeah, that was 11 years.
That's crazy.
They didn't really leave it dead long, did they?
That's kind of a while. 11 years to leave it dead?
I don't know, but in a franchise where they've had 40 movies or whatever the hell they've got, 25 movies. When did they... I think they started in like the 60s with the
60s
movies?
or 70s, something like that, yeah.
I guess that's fair enough. They were cranking them out like every other year for 2 decades practically. Yeah. Maybe 11 years is a long break. Right. The new ones are all really good though. I enjoy them at least.
I kind of like, I feel like I watched them when I was like younger. Well, obviously, but when I was younger. But young enough to the point where I didn't really know what was going on in most of them.
Definitely for Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, I owe a rewatch. But Skyfall and...
Skyfall, I think I grasped when I watched. I remember, dude, that shootout in like that like house in the middle of nowhere.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, true. But fucking... when he brings down the helicopter from like the heat makes the air too thin and the helicopter crashes like just one man in a house in the middle of nowhere burning it down. That was such a fucking sick scene.
We should rewatch movies. We need to watch some movies together that we haven't seen and some that we have. Like Iron Sky, dude.
Yeah.
It has everything you could possibly want.
What's like the elevator pitch for that movie? Like what's the general premise?
Okay. So it's in the future. Mm-hmm. Humanity has finally succeeded in blowing all of its respective shits apart. Mm-hmm. But, luckily, there is a moon base, formerly occupied by Nazis.
Okay.
That was, I think, like, prequel timeline. That's canon. There were Nazis on the moon, but in this whole war, whatever, some of the refugees left Earth and managed to occupy this now defunct space station. So they're living in the moon Nazis' old base, while Earth is basically like a burned out shell of itself.
Okay.
And they end up having to go to the center of the Earth to get a special power supply that can help save their failing space station.
Oh, so the Nazis are the protagonists?
No, it's the... I'm blanking on the word, but like the people that survived Earth and ran to the moon are living in this base. And the Nazis are no longer in there.
Okay.
I think the Nazis were there from like World War II, but part of the whole war, I guess the Nazis got wiped out. I'm a little fuzzy on the Nazi intro part.
Okay.
But it's important that it was Nazis.
Yeah, of course.
Because you find a certain important person's brother in the base that gives you some key information.
Okay. Say no more, fam.
Adventure time happens, and they find a reason that they need to go to the center of the Earth, which it turns out is actually hollow. All the dinosaurs still live there, and also the reptilians, like what people talk about in real life conspiracies, Hillary Clinton and Hitler and everyone else. The reptilians are also real, and that is where they live, in the center of the Earth. And
checks out.
Absolutely. It's a documentary, if nothing else.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so you've got future space Nazis, shape-shifting reptilian world leaders, dinosaurs and riding dinosaurs, and also post-apocalypse and miniature suns involved. So it's basically a wet dream, nerdgasm.
And so how long is this film?
1 hour and 37 minutes.
That's a lot to fit in an hour and a half, I feel like.
It was very dense, and I loved the ride the whole way through. None of this stupid Tarantino build an ambiance or deliver a message type thing.
Balls to the wall from the first scene.
Actually, Tarantino might be the wrong reference if I'm talking about delivering a message. Yeah. I think the only message I've ever gotten from his movies are feet are good.
Yeah, he does. That man does love his feet.
In the most recent Tarantino film I saw, which I guess would have been Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it went just a little long, and it was the first time I think I consciously realized, like, this dude's got, like, a straight-up foot fetish.
Really?
And I was a little uncomfortable with the amount of just, like, kind of dirty feet that we were looking at. The hippie girls, I'm like, all right, this is a lot of toe time.
Really? He ups the ante on his foot game?
And, well, when I think back to it, I'm like, all right, yeah, Kill Bill, there was definitely, like, the bride's feet were featured. Pardon the pun.
Nice.
But it definitely felt more in your face. Then I looked back.
The last thing you want in your face is a bunch of feet.
Unless you're Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, of course.
In which case...
Indulge.
Am I wrong? Was that not the... This might have just been a dumb rumor in high school, but is it the head coach of the Jets also?
Rex Ryan?
Apparently has like a big foot... Like, wife is not allowed to wear shoes in the house. This was some shit that I was told.
I don't know about all that, but there was like a video... it was
Your
weird.
mom works for the Jets. You have to know this foot fetish
there was like
info.
a video of him... Like that he took, and it was like his wife in the car and like putting her feet out the window and him like holding them and stuff.
Oh yeah, baby.
It's so
that's cringy.
It's so strange. I'm pretty sure it was him though. It was just a very strange.
It was someone else's hands holding his wife's feet.
Well, he's never in frame. Like he's holding the camera. I don't know. It's very, and it was like outside, like in like a parking lot.
Where they were just parked and he was.
She was in the car and he wasn't. Like he like comes up to the car. I don't know. It's something.
This gave me so many more questions than an answer.
It's a bit of a fever dream that I have to look up, but it's like, and somehow this very private video gets leaked. I don't know how that happens.
Oopsies.
And someone puts it on like YouTube.
You've never accidentally uploaded a fetish video to YouTube? With your wife?
Somehow I've managed to skirt by without making that simple error.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own, and that is fine.
Yeah.
But the true, like, fetishes, I think I'm glad to say have never really gripped me. Like, and I need this for it to be sexually gratifying. Feet or urine or whatever people are into. Like, definitely there's preferences, but I have never encountered something where I was like, yeah, oh yeah, this is it. Like, I can't leave this.
It's always strange to me how you would stumble upon something like that about yourself.
How do you find out that you are the dude that loves watching stiletto on the testy porn? Like,
well, I guess that evolves from a foot fetish, which I can understand how you would come upon that. Like you see feet and you are attracted to them. Like that's one thing.
I've accidentally seen feet in my everyday life before.
Exactly.
That has come up.
And you just thought, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa, mom.
You're 14 years old, you go to the beach and there's some chick laying down in front of you with her feet facing right at your towel and you just can't even help yourself.
Yeah.
2 restraining orders later and you've got yourself a foot fetish.
Some of the weirder things though, like how do you bring up with someone to try that? I guess, like...
I've read horror stories about people just, like, having been asked by a hookup or a significant other, will you take a dump on my chest?
Jeez, man.
I don't know what to do. I mean, I know to say no, but
I
don't know how I would react in a situation like that. If that came upon...
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to disappoint. I'm a people pleaser. But also...
I feel like I'd just be like, no, I don't care how in the moment I am, where it's like, oh, I need to do this. Like, I feel like that's just kind of where I call it quits.
Definitely with excretion stuff, I am tapping out long before I am roped in. This is almost a would you rather. What are the varying tiers of this? If this was a hypothetical, we would never condone these activities. A one-night stand, and she asks you to shit on her chest. A good answer would be no.
That's a hard no, yeah.
And a follow-up would be, get the hell out of my apartment, or can we just keep it short of that?
I'd have a lot of questions.
I would too, and I would hope they'd be cool talking about it.
Yeah. I feel like...
You can't drop that bomb and then not discuss.
Maybe I could be convinced, who knows? I don't know how persuasive this person is. Maybe I've been missing out my whole life.
Gut biome, man. That's healthy stuff.
Yeah, maybe I've just been missing out, and she can persuade me and pull me over to her side.
That's very open-minded of you.
But I doubt it. And, because I would have so many questions like, so what makes you into this? Like, what is good about this?
Did your dad shit on you when you were young?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what led you here? Yeah, I don't know. I think I would be more interested, but absolutely not horny anymore.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be I don't want to see you again. It might be we shouldn't have any relations again.
Yeah. No, I probably wouldn't want to... just that one factor about someone in a vacuum.
Exactly.
I don't think that's really painting a picture for me of, like, what they are as a person otherwise.
But I do feel like that definitely has a prerequisite psyche in some factors, in some metrics. There are some switches that have to be on or off or scaled differently from the average person for that to be a lock-in thing for you.
Yeah, what if you like meet someone and you're like go on a couple dates and they're just like the sweetest person and they like love their family, have a
This
great
was my
relationship with their
follow-up,
parents.
right? If it's a real potential, or what if it was even a real relation? What if you're 6 months into dating a girl? She's like, look, I know it's weird, and that's why I haven't brought it up until now, but I would really love for you to take a steamer on my chest.
Yeah. No. I don't... Again, like, that's such a situation that I'm not in and haven't really been in, so it's...
Jesus Christ, I hope I never am.
It's hard to put
I don't want to
myself...
disappoint, but I don't want to do that.
It's hard to put myself in those shoes where I feel any sort of obligation to shit on someone. Where it's like, man, I really do love this girl.
And I want to show it. You love movie 43.
Yeah.
You got to eat a big old burrito.
Yeah, that's exactly that scenario. But yeah, if I have been dating for someone, I think I would be able to, like, more so than a hookup, really be able to like hash it out and like be like, no, but why?
I think you owe me an explanation.
Yeah. I don't see that ever happening.
How about next time we're at a casino, we make it an even loss for both of us, and we shit on someone's chest.
We both do?
That way the next trip's a balance.
Are we saying like we wine and dine someone like
and then collectively
go back to their place? Or are we just like pinning someone
you and I
down?
stand back to back, lock our arms like chicken wing elbow style, so we can squat down across the person.
No, we gotta go back to back. Like,
have you ever seen the soft serve machines with 2 levers?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking.
So yeah, are we doing that, or are we like pinning someone down in the bathroom? Like, you stay right fucking there.
Actually, and bear with me on this, I think we should pin someone down in a bowling alley and shit on their chest.
Really come full circle.